Hello, everyone. Today, I'm going to be giving a general critique on Danny's World's balancing issue. No, I am going to be specifically referring to the general game balance, so I'm not really going to include things regarding the community, like distracting, besides one or two notes later on. And I'm trying to limit this down so that some of you can process it clearly. And since I joined somewhat late, I'm gonna say, around Yada update, I don't have any of the Christmas tunes, so critiques surrounding them and their twisted variants, including their trinkets, will not be heavily focused on in this video. To get things started, I'm gonna be talking about the common tunes. I won't really be talking about common twisted, since most of them are essentially the same thing. Some are better, some are worse. Besides a certain someone, which I will refer to later on. I'm just gonna say this right away. Boxen's a terrible starting character. Like, he's good. He's, like, really good mid-game when you get enough research on Roger to get magnifying glass. And being the starting character, you can, get him relatively quickly. Tied for second for being the fastest available tune to buy from the shop. But realistically, what does Boxton teach you about the game? You need more people to help you with machines. That's not inherently helpful. I can argue that the better starting tune is Poppy. Poppy, entirely building around the idea of getting hit, getting out of the way, so that you I am so sorry, my parents are in the other room. But I'll continue. Poppy is being built around the idea of teaching the player that sometimes you aren't fast enough to get away from a twisted, so you intentionally get yourself hit to not waste your stamina, to hide something behind something, and not get hit anymore and die. Which is actually really undervalued due to the fact that many players just don't read the tutorial. Which is another thing. No one's gonna read this, like, 7-page essay on how to play the game. I get that when you pick your tune, it says, oh, just go to the bottom part of the corner to read more. It's like, this is why we should prioritize an interactive tutorial to better teach the player of how to play the game, because 90% of the player base isn't going to end up reading this. I'm sorry, that's just a fact. I'm gonna segue into trinkets now. Pink Bow. This is a controversial opinion. Pink Bow is too good. I think we should nerf him. Nerf Pink Bow. But, like, not in the way that some people say nerf. Like, look at Blue Bandana. It's like a C-tier trinket. It's helpful in the early game when you have nothing else. And then you immediately get rid of it for wrench and magnifying glass if you really want to extract. But my gripe with this is that Poppy and Boxton are the player characters. Some are either Poppy, some are either Boxton. They have their different values. They are not equal whatsoever. Poppy is the better starter tune in terms of teaching you how to survive the twisteds better. And then the escalation between his and her trinkets, or astounding because people often value Pink Bow 2 tiers above Blue Bandana. That's how good this trinket is. Despite being counterparts to each other, these are not valued at the same level whatsoever. Now, this nerf wouldn't really do much, but I kind of want them to make them more mirrors of each other. You know how Blue Bandana reduces your skill check chance by 5%? Maybe they should reduce the walk speed of when you quit Pink Bow by 5% to better show the parallels between these two. Oh, and another thing. Just be aware that this ranking is entirely due because of I can't. Just be aware this ranking is heavily or entirely based off player progression, because this is what Dandy's World is. This is the type of game Dandy's World is, a co-op progression-based game. So I'm gonna talk about the trinkets now to share my controversial opinions about them. Trinkets, for the most part, can be delegated by their rarity. Paint Bucket is a common, Magnifying Glass is an uncommon, and then Participation Award is a main trinket. Due to their twisted rarities, you'd think that they would progressively get better, but that is no, not really. Like like the pattern that I've seen with the trinkets, from my understanding, is that like Dandy's trinkets, not like Dandy plush things that you buy from the shop. They're like bad, but like also kind of gimmicky sometimes. Mostly just to help you progress until you get better trinkets. Everyone knows that. The common twisted trinkets, they give you a little bit of everything. There's one for extraction speed, there's one that's conditional upon activation, there's one for stamina, or like items, there's Pink Bow, which is obviously a speed trinket. Paint Bucket is the more recent skill check one. Party Popper and Sweet Charm are utility, of course. Basically every, what's the word? I wish I wrote a script. Basically, common trinkets are just all around for different categories. Uncommon are more gimmicky, or in this case, one use, but we'll get to that. Rares are more gimmicky, where uncommon trinkets would help you at the start of the round and won't really do much later on the downward floors. The rare trinkets, the trinkets from Rare Twisteds are, start to lean more towards, gimmicks, that all around work, but are very situational. Say, Friendship Bracelet, Crayon Set, and then Lucky Coin. These can help quite a bit, but aren't particularly good. The uncommon and the rare, trinkets are normally seen mid-game, when you don't really have access to the other stuff. Main and lethal trinkets, on the other hand, they're very divisive. Only 3 of them are particularly good, while the others are mostly for character development. I'm gonna say at the very least. Dandy Plush, Train Whistle, Savory Charm. They all have their uses, but are either situational or otherwise outclassed by other things in their field. Vimo is generally seen as one of the best extraction trinkets due to just deleting one machine if you're able to touch one at the start of the round. And Participation Award, which often is said to be outclassed by Vimos, but those types of people also say you need to have the highest floor of 50 to join their run on Discord, so yeah, I'm sorry, we're not going into the community right now. But there's one trinket that I did not bring up, and no, I'm not bringing up Dog Plush. It's still really good in a sense, but like, you know, we're not talking about that yet today. At least not yet. Magnifying Glass. Magnifying Glass is just so good. It's arguably the best trinket in the game. And it's from an uncommon Twisted. I think you're starting to get what I'm going at. For this progression-based game, the trinkets that you gain while you progress you can get 2 of the best trinkets in the game relatively early, like early mid-game at in like the earliest, and that's just astounding to say the least. Finishing up with the trinkets, this is not how I wanted it to go, but this is a good transition to the tunes, the characters you play as themselves. Most commons and uncommons are relatively early game and will be dictated as such. Rares are hard to come by, but relatively powerful for what they are, so they are usually mid-game. And then there's Astro, which, well, he's like 5,000 Icar, so... And then there are the mains. You know, your Sprouts, your Shellys. High accord in their field. And relatively astounding in the stats that they specialize in. But I'm gonna talk about people's opinion on these tunes real quick. Starting with one of the most controversial, Scraps. I think Scraps is just really good. It's like one of the best for what she is. Remember, she is a rare. She's a mid-game character. And I'd like to remind you, she's like the only one in her speed tier. Well, besides Connie. But Connie's slower, and she's an uncommon. Let's look around real quick. Besides R&D, who costs 2,000 Icar with no strings attached. I forgot Scraps' Icar total, but like it's a lot less than R&D's. None of these tunes are slow. V is a main tune. There is no slow tunes to teach you the value of hiding, except for Roger, but not everyone's gonna Roger first. And Roger is ugly and made by Rocks, and we don't talk about him. But we love him during events because he gives us research, and that's the only thing he's good for. But like how people say Toodles is bad. Oh, she's so bad. We need to buff her because I like Toodles. Toodles already fills her role in the game, teaching people how buffs work with her gambling ability. And to a lesser extent, Roger, whose thing is to make people hide more while completing floors slightly faster if you're near machines. I'm gonna say Scraps is like Roger. She's easier time than Roger. because Scraps is the tutorial character for slow movement speed. And then people go on to say, oh, but her average speed tier makes it so that she's seen more often. Oh, you need to, the trinket slots are wasted. You need diary. And then other people are like, oh wait, no, you could just spam the hell out of her ability with ghost snakes. That's the only way how to play Scraps. It's like, are we forgetting like the origins of Astro? Well, okay, that was poorly phrased, but Astro was basically what Scraps was back in alpha release, like early alpha release. Astro had the same extraction and near the same mobility. The only thing that Astro had over Scraps was that he got seen less because of his high stealth, and essentially had pretty good above average stamina due to already having well rested, which made his stamina regeneration a lot better. People just say that Scraps gameplay is terrible. It's like, no, it's not. But is Scraps good? That's very debatable. Scraps isn't particularly good. But neither is Roger, and Roger is good because he gains research. Toodles is good because she teaches you what colors of the stats mean. Scraps is good because she kind of teaches you how, with her reworked ability, Scraps now not only teaches you how to deal with low speed, Scraps also now teaches you about machine placement. Same thing, something similar to V. Now, this is gonna be progressing into my side tangent before we go on to the Twisteds or whatever I feel like talking about them. Brightney and V, upon release of the game, were like the only ones that had any sort of connection in terms of gameplay. Only the mains, Louie and Scraps, had some sort of like relation to like mastery, and it's like, oh, you need this mastery to unlock this tune. And oh yeah, Blot. Yeah, no, Blot also needed that. But for this discussion, they did not need to buff V. She was one of the best supports in the game, and people were just like, this is also the best skin in the best skin for V. No handset. Weird ass jelly bean. Whatever. V is meant to be played as a slow support that's like good at taking machines near elevator. People were saying, oh, V doesn't do enough. V is slow. It takes the twisted too often. She's bad. Oh, it's like, you want better? Yatter. It's like, oh no, the Halloween event, now it's Gordy. It's like, no. These characters fill completely different niches. Gordy, can walk around protecting others while he boosts them on machines. Yada is just one of the best tunes in the game, I'm just saying. No, she does not need a nerf. Her high movement speed is countered by her low stamina and stealth. Please stop saying that. V did not need to highlight machines as well when she uses her scan. They need to rework that. Like, give it to Brightney. Brightney has nothing now. No one's going to use Brightney anymore. Because I'd say that they should make Brightney highlight machines in Blackouts so that you have a better time and be able to see be more acquainted with machine placements. Something that isn't a problem for V, since she already has her passive that highlights machines. Now, they did kind of need to buff V's passive. That was necessary. But her active with like the reduced cooldown and the added highlight of machines, that's too much. No, that was even too much for slick ass transition. Woo! We're gonna talk about Brusha now. Brusha was a letdown, not because she's a common tune, not because that her trinket sucks, not even because she's bad for where she is in the game. Her being the only common tune in her being the only tune in her category that needs 25% research to unlock is weird to say the least. Like, she's not even particularly good, but at least she can help Cosmo. Which, most of the other comments, in my opinion, are like, fine for where they are in the game. Tisha, no, not really, no. Trimpo is a challenge character, he's fine. Cosmo, you can heal people, you're a support, but you can get more Ichor, but then, like, you get less Ichor because your skill check sucks. They have, like, a tune that somewhat introduces every category, except for, like, speed, and that's why I say it's Scrap. But, Scraps is a mid-game character, and, you know. Okay. Here's my opinion. Twisted Brusha should have just been Twisted Brightney, but for Ichor leaks. Like, you introduced the idea. You introduced the mechanic of a new floor event with a new tune, yet you don't make that new tune tied to the floor event. Oh, I'm sorry. The librarian that's good on a game show eats the electrical wiring. Okay, okay, why does that make any more sense than the painter destroying the pipes in search for more ink for her paintings? That genuinely confuses me. I don't know why. Event Twisted. Ooh, the Crybaby. The Crybaby's, trinket sucks. Yeah. Oh, okay. The Crybaby's really good, though, so the trinket sucking, doesn't really matter. The trinket's more or less just for lore reasons. I know that's upsetting for some, but you already get the main. The main is really good. Bassie is also really good. Who really cares that their trinket is gimmicky and kind of sucks? At least it adds variety, you know? Though, I wish Whispering Flower was more along the lines of, like, when there's a teammate near, highlight the closest 5 items on the floor or something, instead of just being exclusive to Panic Timer. But I don't know. I guess that's also in the category of is for lore, not meant to be good. Though I have to say, it's starting to get a little bit annoying that the common Twisted just gives you, oh, this is the game currency. It now glows sometimes. Like, maybe if it made the things that you pick up on the floor give slightly more of the currency, then it would be nice, please. Obligatory RP mode moment, woo! Event tunes. Are they meant to be good? Debatable. Bobette on release was terrible. Despite having, well, I don't have Bobette, so I can't show you. But she had 5 stars in skill check, 5 stars in stamina, 2 stars everything else. People saying that she scraps, but worse. Honestly, I could have agreed. If I was there, I would have agreed, because, at least Scraps, had more HP due to not being a main. Bobette is a survivalist main, which are like 2 things that don't go together. Sure, there's Sprout, but at least he can heal people and run around. Bobette was slow as a snail. Bobette was a snail. Her passive is still, like, absolutely nothing. And then like her hide is like people say it's Connie but worse. It's like no, you can hide from lethals. Connie can't do that. Also, Connie's slower. At least she's average speed now, so she can actually reach machines and do things. It's like I would have preferred if she had 5-star skill check, but otherwise, what she is right now is okay. I didn't get Ginger either. No, I didn't get any of the Christmas tunes because I wasn't around there. But I think I would be a Ginger main. But like people say, oh, Ginger is better than Cosmo because her stats are better. It's like, yeah, but like the trade-off is that you don't heal as fast as Cosmo, and Cosmo can run faster and has more stamina, so she's more better at surviving. It's like, and then he doesn't do much. It's like, okay, skill issue. Extract, if you have a good phone or like a device, extracting might be better on mobile. I don't know, I'm just saying. Like, I can't run it on my PC anymore due to like the Windows 11 thing, but I've been experimenting with the low skill check tunes, and honestly, it's not that bad. Maybe people were exaggerating a bit. Speaking on that, one more thing I'd like to bring up. People should stop bringing up the new matchmaking like it's a quick play feature. It has been said in the Discord multiple times, or at least twice, that the new matchmaking feature that's gonna be added later on, who knows what, despite being weirdly not working like at all, is gonna take player stats into account. People complain that it isn't added into the game right now. It's like, I can understand, but the way that they're referring to it is confusing, to say the least. It's like, oh, matches take too long to form. I've been server hopping for hours, and then like 3 people die on floor 1. It's like, oh, we need matchmaking now. These noobs are so bad at the game. It's like, dude, those are 2 different problems that one thing can't solve on its own. Now, I wish they would have, like, thought about it more. Like, quick play would be nice. Matchmaking would also be nice. It's just the fact that they kind of lump these 2 different problems together with one solution in mind is really annoying. Because those are 2 different, features that could have been in the game. It's like, okay. Sure, Anchored and Dolly's Factory did it first. Well, like this drama before Danny's World. That's what I mean. It's like, those aren't particularly good either, because no one ever uses them. They're just public lobbies that are less coordinated, or just like fill up slower. You get what I mean. Now, despite everything going everywhere, all over the place, what's the main takeaway of this video? To remember, Danny's World is a game that requires progression. You get people are more likely to get Glisten before Yada, who's people say is better than Glisten. It's like, yeah, I can agree. It's like, Yada's better than V. It's like, you just Yana is not particularly better than V. She's a good support and great by herself. V is a support character. Slow, but that justifies her support capabilities. Danny's World balancing is questionable and kind of lackluster in a sense. But we take the good with the bad because the bad stuff can sometimes be fun. And partially, I'm kind of under the assumption that or pressured to make V better because the community often sees her as terrible because they don't know how to use her. Pebble, upon release, was pretty bad. Like, okay, he wasn't entirely bad. He was like if Flutter and Goob had their stats mixed, but if Flutter had less stealth and more movement speed. Because this was before the update where mains had 16 stars instead of 15. Where was I going with this? Danny's World is a somewhat difficult game to criticize. It is a somewhat casual progression-based game requiring levels of teamwork and strategy. People kind of forget the former sometimes and complain when the latter isn't well adjusted. This game appeals to kids, mind you, and it's like, oh, kids aren't that dumb. Well, I'm not reading this. Did you read it? No, probably not. And, for every goob with fancy purse and wrench, to every griefing Tisha, Danny's World has a lot to be desired, but from what it is still quite addicting. It is not, like, the core game bouncing, the appeal. It's like the characters. And then, like, the general chaos that unfolds from different situations brought upon the varied amount of, threats that they show upon you. Criticize the gameplay all you want. Criticize the bouncing. But at the end of the But at the end of the day, despite all the Danny's World inspired games like Anchor and Dolly's Factory, I think Danny's World has like the best variation of threats. Like, sure, the event twisteds are quite lackluster, or at least the earlier ones. But like Twisted Bobette was a beast on her own, and it's probably like, and the chaos that comes from every like Twisted having their unique gimmicks and all is what makes Danny's World the most enjoyable. Also, Vanity Mirror Cooler is underrated. I distracted with Scraps in panic mode. Scraps is the best character. You guys just suck.